iPhone XR review, power, price, and colorful design makes this a very tempting upgrade. The iPhone XR brings a big screen on a smaller budget, and with this device packing some premium specs, there's certainly lots to like. Here's Express Co UK's full iPhone XR review. Phone XR review from £749. For stunning design at a cheaper price, A12 Bionic processor offers supreme power. Wireless charging, edge-to-edge display, 6 colorful options to choose from. Against larger bezel around the screen, camera's portrait mode has its limitations. LCD screen simply not as good as OLED. No fast charger or headphone dongle in the box. There's now a way to own an all-screen Apple smartphone on a much smaller budget. The new iPhone XR arrives in stores later this week, with it featuring the stunning style of the iPhone XS without the shock of a £1,000 price tag. For less of your money, you not only get an edge-to-edge display but a colorful new design, super fast processor, and a single rear camera that features the ability to add DSLR-style depth of field to your photos. So is this now the ultimate iPhone for those wanting big specs and pure value for money? Express.co.uk has been putting the iPhone XR through its paces, and here's our full review. Design and display. Apple is bringing some color back to its iPhones, and that's sure to be a hugely popular design decision. Unlike the flagship XS and XS Max, which are only available in gold, space gray, and silver, the XR arrives in 6 brilliantly bright colors including red, yellow and blue. These glossy tones all look fabulous and bring some added fun back to the iPhone brand. Although this smartphone is a little cheaper than the XS, Apple has kept a premium feel with the XR covered in a durable water-resistant glass case and a color-matched aluminium band which runs around the sides of the phone. These subtle touches bring plenty of appeal, and there's no question that this is a stylish and very desirable device to have tucked in your pocket. Along with its fresh new look, another thing we really like is the XR's overall size. With it featuring a 6.1-inch display, this phone sits perfectly between the 5.8-inch XS and 6.5-inch XS Max. In fact, it offers the perfect balance between screen dimensions and usability, with plenty of room to view content without the device being too big for your pocket. Our overall impressions of this latest Apple smartphone are good, but there is something that you shouldn't ignore. One big difference between the XR and its more expensive XS sibling is its LCD screen. Apple is confident that this new Liquid Retina technology can deliver a top-class experience, and there's certainly nothing wrong with this non-OLED panel. When you first set eyes on this screen, you'll be struck by just how bright and colorful it really is. Content looks crisp, sharp, and its new backlight design packs plenty of punch. However, if one of your friends pulls the new iPhone XS from their pocket, you may wish you'd spent the extra money. With Apple's flagship featuring OLED technology, it offers a superior experience with richer blacks, brighter whites, and more detail packed into the image. Watching a 4K HDR YouTube video really highlights why OLED is the future, and you won't find this technology on the XR. To say there's anything wrong with the LCD screen would be wrong and would be doing this display a huge injustice. But, if you want the ultimate visual experience, you are better off spending more and buying the XS. One final thing to be aware of is that the black bezel around the screen is slightly bigger on the XR. It's a minute difference, but is strangely noticeable and worth taking a look at before you decide if this is the phone for you. Camera. There's a radical new single-lens camera system on the XR, and it offers a very accomplished experience. The 12-megapixel wide-angle lens comes packed with plenty of technology to help produce sublime images every time you hit the shutter button. There's full optical image stabilization to help your shots stay wobble-free, a faster sensor, and a feature called Smart HDR, which takes a number of images at once and picks the best parts of each for the ultimate end result. Smart HDR means you can put the XR in some tricky situations, such as shooting into direct sunlight, and still end up with a decent photo. Despite the XR only featuring that single rear lens, it is still capable of adding DSLR-style depth of field to your images. Not only does this portrait mode work incredibly well on the phone, but you can even edit the amount of bokeh background blur after the photo has been taken. We've been really impressed by this feature, but it's worth noting that, unlike the XS, it only works with people. This means you can't apply the same effect to pictures of your pets or anything that doesn't include a human face. This is quite a big drawback of what is otherwise a very good rear camera. If it's video you are after, then the XR is capable of filming in full 4K, and it uses its 4 built-in mics to add stereo sound to your footage. For those all-important selfies, you'll find a 7-megapixel true-depth camera on the front of the phone, which has a neat party trick. Like the rear camera, this clever front-facing snapper can also add depth of field to those photos of your face. Portrait lighting is also available on the front camera using a precise depth map to separate the subject from the background for stunning studio-quality selfies. Other favorite features that continue to make an appearance on the XR include slow mo, time-lapse and panorama. With all these features packed into the XR, this phone offers a very good photographic experience. It may not have all the pro settings of the XS, but, considering its lower price, it's hard to be too critical of a camera that will produce some stunning snaps for your family album. Speed, Face ID, and battery. The iPhone XR may land in your pocket at a smaller cost than the flagship XS, but that doesn't mean it can't keep pace with the competition. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Tucked under the glass and metal body is Apple's turbocharged A12 Bionic processor, which is currently one of the fastest chips on the market. A recent speed test proved just how fast these new brains are, beating all of its Android rivals by a hefty margin. The A12 Bionic features a 7nm chip that delivers huge performance in a more efficient design. This means everything you ask of the XR is performed with minimal effort, and this device is an out-and-out joy to use. Apps open in the blink of an eye, and scrolling through websites or playing the latest blockbuster games has never felt so smooth. Another notable difference between the new A12 and older A11 processors is how fast the Face ID facial recognition now is. As we mentioned earlier, the XR has an all-screen design, which means the famous home button has been banished to the history books. Instead of unlocking with a fingerprint, users simply look at the phone to gain instant access. This feature first arrived on last year's iPhone X. That device was certainly no slouch when it came to Face ID, but the XR takes this to a new level with the unlock symbol appearing almost instantaneously. There's also another useful feature of the A12, as it's able to power this device whilst using up to 50% less energy. This means that you'll easily get a full day's usage on a single charge. We are still thoroughly testing the XR's battery life and will update this article over time, but initial impressions are good, with our first few days of real-life usage ending with over 30% are still left in the tank. If things do run low, the iPhone XR can be fast charged by 50% in just 30 minutes. It's worth noting that Apple still doesn't supply this powerful plug in the box, which is highly annoying. If you own a new MacBook charger, you can use this to get a power boost, but otherwise, you'll need a trip to an Apple store to buy the £49 charger. If plugging your phone into refill sounds so last year, you'll be pleased to know that the XR can be charged wirelessly. Again, you'll need to splash out on a Qi charging dock to get this wire-free feature, but it's definitely worth the investment. Extras. There's plenty of nice added bonuses on the iPhone XR, including some superb stereo speakers which belt out sound with plenty of volume and decent levels of bass. These speakers also offer a wider sound, which certainly brings a more immersive experience to this portable device. Along with the improved audio, there's also the ability to now add a dual SIM to the iPhone, which allows you to have two numbers on the same device. This double SIM option will arrive, via a software update, later this year, so we've not been able to test its functionality, but it should certainly be a useful addition when it arrives in the coming months. Like its predecessor, the XR can also produce some fun interactive animojis via the front-facing true-depth camera, and there's now the addition of memojis in iOS 12 which offer some added entertainment. Memojis can be created easily on the phone with hundreds of ways to customize them until the on-screen character looks just like you. Finally, there's the great news for anyone whose phone is always out of memory, as you can buy the XR with a generous 256 GB of internal storage. It's worth noting that, unlike many Android devices, this memory is not expandable, so make sure you pick the right iPhone for your needs. As a reminder, the XR comes with either 64 GB, 128 GB, or 256 GB of storage. Don't forget, there's no headphone port on the iPhone XR, and Apple has stopped shipping a dongle in the box, so you'll need to buy one of these £7 accessories if you have some wired cans. Price. One of the best parts of the iPhone XR is its relatively low price. Although £749 isn't exactly cheap, this is the first time Apple has released an all-screen iPhone for the same cost as its bezel-filled cousins. The current iPhone XS starts from £999, which makes this new device seem like a bit of a bargain. Buying the XR on a monthly plan will set you back around £34 when paying a £199 upfront fee. Verdict. The iPhone XR is set to be a hugely popular addition to Apple's smartphone family, and it deserves plenty of praise. This new device is beautifully made with its bright colors, bringing a refreshing change to the standard space gray and silver. The modern design means you get a huge 6.1-inch screen in a phone that's physically smaller in your pocket. And the all-glass finish brings a quality feel to the hand, and tucked under this durable case is that incredible new processor. By including the new A12 Bionic chip, Apple has made this device fast, powerful, and a total delight to use. The single rear camera also performs well enough, and there's plenty of nice extras including Face ID, wireless charging, and the ability to send those fun animojis. At £749, Apple has created a hugely tempting option, but there are some niggles that you won't find on the more expensive XS. Despite the new LCD screen appearing bright and clear, it simply can't match the latest OLED technology. There's also that slightly thicker bezel that runs around the Liquid Retina display, which does cheapen the appearance. It's also worth remembering that the front and rear camera can add some nice depth of field to photos of your face, but this effect won't work on anything else. If these issues don't concern you, then you're in for a treat, as the XR is a seriously good phone. It's fast, feature-packed, and that more affordable price makes it a very attractive upgrade.